What's up, fellas? It's great to have you on here for this special late night Sunday evening live stream session. So let me know in the chat where you're joining us from. We'll do some shout outs, and it's always fun getting to see all over the world people hopping in. So we might be missing some of our crew in Germany and Africa and some of those because this might not be a good time for them that usually hop onto the Friday live stream, but I'm excited to get to do this today. We're in for a treat. So let's just see who all's checking in here. We got Charles, one of the creative crew, hopping in. And Aaron, what? Just became a member. Let's go, Aaron. Thanks for hopping on the creative crew as well. Ride of a lifetime. He's also a member. I would put my live stream up for review, but it's not to where I like it yet. I understand that. Totally understand. Simon, hey Rylan, any plans to come out to Northern Virginia? I've actually never been there, so why not? And we got Elijah Kidd in the house. Stick around, Elijah. You're gonna want to. Awesome. Bro, let's go. Thanks for doing this. Absolutely. It's a joy. Well, guys, welcome to a special Sunday night live stream. Let me know how things are looking and sounding in the chat. And I hope that you guys had an awesome Sunday wherever you were serving at today. So let me also know, like, what did you do today? Maybe you do the same thing every Sunday. Are you running front of house? Are you live stream directing? Or are you like me? You're like the do-it-all worship leader. Like I was actually leading worship and on stage. So we're all leading worship, which is what's really cool. But today I got to lead through song, and it was just a great Sunday here at Central. Man, we were just talking with my pastor a minute ago how post-COVID, his first Sunday was the first Sunday we closed for COVID, which was great. And then at that moment, we were averaging around 240 people here at Central. We had shrunk down a lot. We had gone through some stuff. And just in the last few months, we've been averaging double that now. 480. Today, we were up at like 530. So, man, God is good, and he's up to stuff here. And I don't know if you've been watching the videos on the channel, but we've got a lot of construction going on. So, September, October, November is going to be insanity here, and I'm excited for it. So, let's see who is jumping into the chat. Anybody else I can give a holler out to? Joshua Chilton down in Frisco. He says production director as normal. Fam TV in the house. What's up, Rylan? Hey, you guys haven't submitted in a while. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's see. Vondel says I was running front of house sound. And Alex wants me to come down to McKinney, Texas. Yeah. The ride of a lifetime. I've been leading worship and played acoustic and played a kick drum with my foot. Been only recording our services and tweaking after I listen back because I'm doing everything myself. Man, been there, done that. I actually have tried the old play the kick drum while you play acoustic and lead. It wasn't for me. It was bad. So, you try those things in youth group, and if they don't work out, you just don't do it anymore. Elijah says they ran their dolly camera today and then semi-trained a somewhat new camera op 2 minutes before service. Hey, throw them in the deep end, right? And Adventure says, hey, I was pimping on the keys this morning. I don't know what pimping on the keys looks like, but I bet it was really good. So, oh, man. No, Josh, I'm not even putting that on the screen. And then Alex says, second week on an LV1 Classic. It's been great. What do you guys think of this Sunday night live stream time? Is this maybe even better? Like, because we're all kind of winding down from the day. You're just chilling in your bed. You got Netflix up on the TV, but you got me in your ear. So welcome. It's going to be a great time. And right now, I am super excited to introduce our guest for the live stream today. And you guys, if you've been around at all in the church creative world, then you know who Lee Fields is. Lee has been doing all kinds of things, serving the church for many, many years. He's ran sound front of house for major people like Hillsong United and Switchfoot and just so many, the list goes on. But more than that, I love to see and hear Lee's heart for the local church and how we can make it better and better, all for God's glory. So without further ado, I want you guys to help me welcome to the live stream the one and only Lee Fields. Let's go, Lee.
What's up?
Thank you.
There you go,
How's it
man.
going, man?
It is going great. Now, tell everybody, Lee, I like to start off with a hot seat, kind of throw you right into the fire thing.
All right.
If you think of the word or abbreviation AVL, there's a reason that A is the first letter. Can you tell us why audio is the most important part of creative arts ministry?
I've never thought about this. However, if you want to do a live event, you have to be able to hear. I think that's the one that's a deal breaker, unless you know sign language. So probably because that's the one that has to be included. Like, do you need video? Well, how big's the room? What's the content needs? Do you need lighting? Is it dark? I don't,
Yeah.
Do you need to hear? Yes, you in fact do need to hear. So probably that, but also I was going to say alphabetical order, but that doesn't work because V and L don't follow that. So
Yep, absolutely. Well, dude, I'm excited to have you on the live stream today, just to going to check out some of the people's streams they've submitted and get some feedback from you on how we can make our audio mixes even better for the broadcast stuff. Hey, whenever you're tuning up a system for the first time, what is your kind of go-to song that is like the one that you know how you want it to hear, you want to hear it and how it should sound? What are you going for?
yeah, okay. So I have an instrumental version of it also, depending on the clientele, but it doesn't have anything like vulgar in it. Just, I've actually been in churches where they're like, you can't tune with secular music. So like Toto's out, but there's a song it's a remix. The original is a Mayer Hawthorne song called Her Favorite Song. But the remix is by a producer named Oliver. I've never heard anyone else using it. Andrew Stone showed me this song, I don't know, probably 8-10 years ago. And I just liked the way it sounded. And I just started using it. So that's the one I typically
Is there
use.
certain things in it that like gives you those high frequencies, lows, like the kick or something that you really are drawn to? Or
No, honestly, for me, like having a tuning song is less about that than it is about just familiar.
Yeah.
I can't talk today. Being familiar with it.
Yeah.
So it has to have everything. Like I probably couldn't use like a voiceover, even though I knew what the voiceover sounded like. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's good to have stuff. I also like the song, but it's pretty high up there in my Spotify most played songs of the year. It's usually in the list.
That's funny. Wow.
Because I'll listen. If I'm mixing somewhere, I will probably listen to it. I don't know, 5 or 6 times, depending on how bad a rough shape that PA's in or not. Maybe not even get through it one time. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm a front of house mixer. I'm really dangerous when it comes to system tuning.
Okay.
I think I'm very good at system designing, because there's kind of 3 trades, right? Like system designing, like what's the room need? And then system tuning, getting it in time, phase, getting everything pointed at the right seats. That's a unique skill set. And especially now where technology is with speaker systems, they have their own software. The amplifiers are doing more than just sending signal to the correct driver. There's a lot of other stuff going on anymore. So it's really important to have someone that's what they do.
Yeah.
But then when it comes time for like the tone of the PA, I am very good at that. So then I can be like, hey, I'm missing the like 100 to 250, so we can either add that or take some out of everything else. Like, so I'll just work, that way with someone. So when I'm playing music, that's what I'm going for, is just trying to get that system set in a way when I start turning knobs on the console, I know how it's going to respond.
That makes sense. Hey, Josh commented and said he was at Watermark with you whenever you guys were doing the Elisa system demo. So
Yeah.
Tell everybody about that. How was that experience?
Yeah, it's awesome. So anytime I get the chance to talk about Immersive, I'm going to jump at it, because I feel like we kind of got sent down the wrong road. It's like you got GPS directions and we went 50 miles the wrong way before we realized that we are going the wrong direction. with like people still think it's like a surround sound thing or like a creative thing or a new technology advancement of something fresh you can do with audio, and that's not what it is at all. They do have the option to put speakers all over the back of the room and in the ceiling and mics in the ceiling. That's a different thing. What immersive is at its core is object-based mixing, and it's enabling more of the room to experience the same mix at the same time. Like, that's a really simple way to say it, and you for sure have to go listen to it, and you need to listen to it by someone who's mixing it with that objective, because I've also been in rooms with Elisa or Soundscape, and they're not doing that, and it's a train wreck, and they just wasted all their money. So you really do have to go into it knowing what the goal is and approach it that way. So like if you have a room and you want to get Elisa or Soundscape, you measure the room, and then the manufacturer puts it in software, and if the center speaker hang, scene, whatever you want to call it, everybody calls it something different, if that one doesn't cover around 75% of the seats in the room, your room doesn't qualify for the system. Okay? So not everyone can even have it. Like L Acoustics or D&B won't sell you one if your stage shape is funny, the proscenium and where the speakers are hanging in a way, and only 30% of the room can benefit from it. They won't even sell it to you. So that's a good way to think about it. Like, oh, it's actually not surround sound.
Yeah.
It's not like Atmos. That's not what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, we were in Texas. There's a great system there, and I was able to get a few hundred people in the room and go, okay, here's what this is.
And
It was awesome.
What console do they have at Watermark at front of house?
They had an SSL.
Okay. So you're on an SSL. What was the first mixer that you really cut your teeth on?
Mixer?
Yeah.
Like,
front of house.
Yeah. So cut my teeth on, I would call that like what I use the most and kind of like really honed in some skills. Probably PM5D, M7. I think those were what I saw the most in the late 2000s, so like 2007, 2010-ish.
Yeah.
And then when the Avid stuff came out, I would say that probably took the seat there until the mid-2010s. And then it's just kind of everything from there. Like, I just feel like there's so many options now. And, once you get into that second and third generation of digital console, you got to be kind of prepared to mix on probably 30 different desks at this point.
Right.
So, all the GUIs are kind of the same. So, like, one Digico is kind of the same as the others. And that pretty much applies to every manufacturer. But I'd say it went through phases. So, early on, when M7 came out, I was touring a lot, and 5Ds were everywhere. So, I'd say that. And then when I started doing church stuff, Avid.
Gotcha.
And then Yamaha. I just go through seasons, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I cut my teeth as a full-time media director straight out of college at a little church that had bought a Mackie digital console. It was the first digital console I'd ever seen in like 2005 or something. And it was just like, I don't know what this is, but we're going to figure this out. And never looked back. And now I have no idea what some of those consoles you just said are, because I've just never, Avid, SSL, all that good stuff. No, I mean,
that's hilarious.
It's just not the world that I live in, but it's the world that you live in, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, so for instance, like the M7CL was the first introduction into, like, when you look at the Yamaha GUI now, that's where it came from, was that console. And it was like a $22,000 console. 48 faders, dedicated stereo returns, 2 master buses, and did like 24 outputs and 12 matrix. And people were like, oh my gosh, you get all this for 28 grand. Because before that, what I mentioned was the PM5D, about the same amount of IO, 3 times the price, but was 7 years before that.
Nice.
So you can see where this has gone. Like, then 12, 13, CL5 comes out, 72 channels.
Ooh.
40 outputs, and it's 35 grand. And now where we're at now, it's like you can get a PM3, 120 inputs, and you're at like, 55, 60 grand. So it's just crazy to see what's happened.
Well, you need that channel count to be able to do stereo acoustics like I do. So
right. No. Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. I want wet, dry, wet, wet, dry, wet, dry, wet.
And a crush. I like to do a crush as well.
And a crush on the pickup and the mic, and then yeah.
Yep. Well, man, I love to talk gear, and something that I like to do with all of my guests on the channel is play a little game called Guess the Tech.
I love that I have no idea about what's happening right now. It's just coming to me.
Good. I even have an AI theme song for it. Here we go.
Some of these things may haunt your dreams. Guess the tech.
All right, so this edition of Guess the Tech is going to be microphone focused for Lee.
Okay.
So what's going to happen on the screen is you're going to see a silhouette of,
oh my God.
of the microphone, and we're going to see if you can guess the model, the make, the manufacturer of that microphone. All right.
I'm so bad at model names. This is going to be hilarious.
All right, so you guys help them out in the chat. All right, I think you can probably get this first one. It's one that I've heard a lot of praise for recently. So do you have a guess for this one?
Yeah, that's a Lawton Tom mic.
Hey, Lawton Tom mic. Tell us why this one is so good, because I got to buy a new drum mic package.
Condenser microphone with the best rejection I've ever heard.
Okay.
And they're incredibly well made and great people there, great customer service. So
Nice.
that thing freaking rules.
Cool. All right, next up.
SM57.
Yeah, there you go.
That's easy.
That's pretty easy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's start off easy. Here we go.
Yeah.
How about this one?
That's an RE20.
You got it. Very nice. Very nice.
I cannot believe I got that right. That's a 91.
You got it. Wow. 4 for 4. All right, here we go.
I think it's a 58, but what should be like a Samson or something?
I know. I thought about tricking you with one like
Yeah.
that. No, you
It's
got
a
it.
natty.
Right. All right, how about this one?
421. Okay, these are pretty easy.
Not for everybody. Not for everybody.
Okay.
How about this one?
D112.
Oh, I don't think I know models very well.
Well, if you'd have pulled out, like, here's where I would have gotten stuck. If you show me a KSM 27, 33, 44, I mess all those up. Some of the names don't exist, and I say it anyway.
All right, how about this one?
That's a U87.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's like the most heralded vocal mic, right, for studio recording?
Yeah, I mean, for like a $3,000 mic, yeah, that's probably the one.
Yeah. All right, how about this one?
414.
You got it.
Now, what would have been sick is if I could have been able to tell if it was a 90s, a new one, like a C, a ULS, a B, or an XLS.
Yeah.
They're all the same, but
Yep.
the 90s one, dude, is so much better than the new ones.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So go to Reverb and buy an old one for about $800, and
All right. How about this one?
that's a Audix D6.
Yes, it is. And do you know this model?
Yeah, Beta 98s.
Oh,
No, that's the Audio Technica.
he lost it. He was too
I
confident.
knew it as soon as I said it. I was like, no. But I would not have known the numbers because I don't like that drum mic.
Okay. Have you ever used these on like a grand piano or something? I've seen them like that with the magnets.
Are these? I think DPA is really dumb for naming their mics with 4 numbers. First of all, I have probably used it on something.
Yeah.
Because is this the one that you'll see on strings? You'll see it on
Yeah.
all kinds of things?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't like them.
All right, we're gonna shift
That's
just a.
heresy for some people.
It is. Gosh, hope DPA's not watching.
I think Audio Technica had one that looks like that too.
They probably did. Yeah. All right. Switching a little bit here.
Okay. Oh, that's a Roland trigger.
Do you know what kind?
I don't know the name. Every time someone asks me which ones I use these sometimes. I have to go Google the freaking name of the trigger, and I think I own some. It's I can't tell you. I literally will just Google Roland trigger, and it's that one.
RT30.
Yeah.
I mean, they have
Yeah.
the different models for like snare,
Yeah.
tom, kick.
Single zone, dual. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then this is an important aspect of microphones.
Okay, let me. Well, that is an antenna.
It is the RF venue.
That's what I was gonna say. It's RF venue. I just don't know the name.
And then finally, you have to have something for all of these mics to be ran through. So I thought I'd throw probably the best front of house mixer that has come out in the recent years. Let's see if you can guess it.
That's a wing.
Hey, you know
Hey.
what? You only missed one.
I know.
That was
And I feel-
impressive.
And as soon as I said it, I was like,
That was impressive though, man. So what's the most like underrated mic that you constantly kind of see, go to, use it for different things that people should know about?
this is going to sound stupid, but the friggin' Beta 58 and SM57, people know them though, but I can't tell you how many people ignore them because they're cheap.
Really?
And like it's not sexy to use it. But I don't know.
What do you use a Beta 58 on besides vocals?
That's it.
Okay.
But I mixed an event last week, and I knew nothing about the organization. It was this giant conference, or the pastor speaking, but it was in an arena, like 15,000 people, big old PA, and they're streaming this thing to their YouTube audience of 3 million subscribers every night. Yeah. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Can't have feedback, not an option. Well, put a 58 in everybody's hands. 12 BGVs on stage, 12 D&B wedges, side fills, and I can't have it feedback. I'm killing the 58. And it sounded awesome. I don't know. I just think people go like, yeah, but it's only $140. Like, it can't be that good. Like, what about a DPA or what about I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. It just does it. It just works great. I think, it doesn't work on everybody and not every situation. But the 57 too, like, I'm making a post, I think tomorrow, on drum mic packages for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and like an unlimited.
Okay.
And the cheapest way to get a great drum mic package on a 4-piece drum kit is 4 SM57s.
Okay.
It's $400.
Even a 57 on the kick.
Yep. Totally.
If it works, it works.
It works because, a real kick mic's going to be like 2 or 3 times that. So put the 57 in the drum, like all the way in there. Tell me how you like that. It's going to be awesome.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a boring answer, but
I mean, hey, I love it. I love it because,
Yeah.
I mean, this channel is all about like finding those budget-friendly solutions to tech ministry needs. Like that's mainly who is tuning in probably tonight is guys like me who are, you're trying to get creative and still do things with excellence. So, man,
yeah,
I appreciate that.
I had a mega church in the Midwest hit me up to mix Easter a handful of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and I knew a little bit about them. They have this weird booty front of house console, like you see this thing in TV trucks, that kind of console. And all the mics on stage are DPA and Earthworks this and all this like super high-end eclectic stuff. And they were not thrilled with the results they were getting. So like, and this was for Easter, they brought me in. They're like, can you give us a mic package? And it was 57s on every instrument. All the drums were 56. A 56 is the 57 equivalent for drums. And 58s on all the vocals. And then they were like, holy crap. And then took all the plugins off, turned everything off, just use a console. So sometimes I'll go to the extreme to prove a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to be like, what's up? Not trying to show off me.
Yep.
I'm trying to prove a point that you're overcompensating your lack of skill with gear, and you need to go back to fundamentals and work on your craft.
Yeah, man. We did have a question come in. Davey asks, how about the SE V7?
Do you know about this? Why that question is getting asked?
I'm assuming you hate it, maybe. I don't know.
I do hate it,
Okay.
and I trashed that microphone online a lot, and SE reached out to me, and they were like, why are you trashing our mic?
Oh, my gosh.
So I got on a phone call with one of the senior level guys, and we just had a discussion about it, and I told him how I felt about it, that they're unreliable. The paint washes off of them. The microphone changes tonality over time. And if you buy 6 of them, they're not all 6 going to sound the same. And it does this weird, like, low-mid plosive limiting thing. And then there was an issue with the shock mount. And he, to his credit, verified all of my concerns were real. The shock mount thing they fixed, and they are working on the other stuff. But so I don't know, man.
So we'll see.
I just am really honest, and I don't think, people aren't used to it, I guess, sometimes, but like, I don't like being called a Yamaha guy
Yeah.
because I don't like being associated to any brand. But at the same time, like if I have trouble with some gear, I think some gear sucks, I'm going to say it. I don't care.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got some anecdotal evidence here backing you up. I already had one of my V7 capsules die. It's only 8 months old. So, yeah.
It's a $130 mic. It's made in Asia. They have manufacturing struggles like a lot of Asian manufacturers. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a reality of doing Asian manufacturing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of honesty, I think it's probably time to jump into some live stream reviews.
Okay, I'm going to be nice, okay?
All right, this is nicely, everybody. But that doesn't mean you can't be honest, you know?
No.
I think everybody's here for it. So this is our first submission. It comes from Gateway Church in Shelbyville, Tennessee. So Elijah, if you're in the chat, holler out and let us know that you're there. And as we kind of get this going, I'll tell you about their audio setup, everybody. So and today we're talking audio. I might chime in on some video stuff if we have a minute, but mainly audio. So they're doing an AES-50 out of the Behringer Wing into Pro Tools for multi-track recording and the broadcast mix. And then they have a couple of crowd mic shotguns positioned in the ceiling, and their broadcast mix is manned and it's controlled. It's not like a set and forget. So going into Pro Tools out of the wing. So let's listen for a little bit, and then we'll let you give some thoughts.
But I just can't win the fight. I'm slowly drifting. I'm a vagabond. And just when I ran out of road, I met a man I didn't know. And he told me that I was not alone. He picked me up, he turned me around, and placed my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, because he healed my heart and changed my name. Forever free, I am not the same. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior, I thank God. I cannot deny what I've seen. Got no choice but to believe. My doubts are burning like ashes in the wind. And so long to my old friends, called burden and bitterness. You just keep on moving. You ain't welcome here.
All right. So that's Gateway Church out of Shelbyville, Tennessee, and it does look like Elijah is in the chat. So if we have any specific questions, we can ask him and get some feedback there. But Lee, what are you hearing? You know, after listening to that for just a little bit here.
Okay.
Yeah, man, give me your thoughts and kind of sound off. What initially kind of jumps out at you?
I mean, I honestly, the first thing I noticed was like, hey, your video is pretty good. So there's a lot of energy.
I agree. I totally agree. Video's
So
killing it.
I love the energy of the video. I wish there was a little more color in the black spots.
Yep.
So maybe in the stage design, there's something there. Like there's a lot of black on the wide shots, you know, and like this shot's great with the keys, like, but like right here, it's real dark in the back. But there's nothing you can do with the camera. Even like you can't shine light on something for if light's not going to be absorbed. So
Yeah.
maybe think about that. On the audio, I like that the vocals are on top. I think that's awesome. I think that's where it should be. Like, no one's watching this online to hum the kick drum, you know? I do think the drum tuning is the first thing that I would work on. So if those are samples, I'd look for a different sample pack. If there's samples and it's a blend scenario, I would look at that. But the drums sound... They don't sound as tuned as good as they could be. The snare drum sounds pretty loose. Snares sound loose. I would tighten it up. It doesn't mean you have to raise the pitch of the drum. I would look at that. That's the first thing. I would love to hear some BGVs. You know, the vocal's nice and on top, but if there's some tracks, I would pump those BGV tracks. Is there anyone else singing?
I haven't seen a shot of any other singers yet that I've noticed. So they
Yeah.
may not. I saw the MD mic, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah. Maybe too much energy on the video now. I mean, now I'm like, okay, chill. No, it's good though.
So whenever you're dialing in drum sounds, is that one of the first things you're starting with and listening for, is dialing in that foundation?
Oh yeah, like the tuning, like, and not even mic'd up, like in front of the drum. Like, what's it sound like just standing in front of the drum kit? You know, what's it sound like where the microphone is going to be? So that's one thing too. Like, you can listen to the snare drum in front of the riser, but what's it sound like near the drum? You know, and then it's also a feel thing for drummers. Like, how the stick responds back to you can really affect how you play. So it's a balance of how do these need to be tuned to get the sound that we want, in conjunction with how's it going to feel, position, cymbal bleed, mic placement, right? Like, all of that has to work together. And then you think about mic selection. Like, if your drummer wants the cymbals right on top of the toms, well, that's probably going to affect your overhead mic choice and your tom mic choice. Maybe a condenser won't work. Maybe you need a dynamic mic. And like I think I saw 57s. That's probably the tightest one you can get. So, no, that's an Audix
That is
D2
Audix,
on that
yeah.
tom mic. So, I think that's the worst sounding tom mic. Okay? I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I think it's a pile of garbage. And you should sell them and get 57s. And that's a break-even transition from one mic to the other. That cost would be the same. You can get a used 57 on Reverb for like $70. If you got more budget, like the Lautens are expensive. They're $300 or $400. But there's stuff in the middle. The Sennheiser 600 series tom
Yeah.
mics, fantastic. They're dynamic, so you don't have to worry about cymbals. These are dynamic. Does it hear the snare? How it's real, like,
Yeah, let's listen for just another minute.
yeah. So the snare's real loud, you know. Snare's loud. I'd bring the snare back. I want to hear more guitar. I want to hear more tracks. I want to hear more instrumentation. I would look at how you get those guitars to cut through. A lot of times, it's the amps actually need less gain. It's kind of counter. Like, how do you get the guitar to cut through? You turn the gain down
Yeah.
and you clean it up a little bit. You know, so they kind of disappear. But also, they're fighting with keys and tracks and all kinds of other stuff. So you have to do something different. And someone else is singing now, so I'd love to know like where he was in song 1. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Looks like they've got a fuller team.
Oh, they got
now.
a bunch of singers. Yeah, so we need to be hearing more singers. And I don't want to hear Susan sing soprano. I want to hear texture and energy from a choir-esque.
Yeah.
If they're singing multiple parts, great. Most likely it's a melody in a second part. You know, and Summer does. You know, you're a singer. You know where I'm going with this. It's, what are we doing? Are we singing parts? Or are we singing a part and a lot are on melody? I just need to hear that. It's so much more energy.
What's your technique and tips for that? Because something we struggle with is like, I'll have different singers leading different songs. And so we're not panning vocalists because my stream is unmanned as far as the broadcast feed. But are you doing different buses with different master compression to kind of get those vocals to blend? Are you doing different reverbs with different times? Are you doing snapshots based on the songs? What tips can you give us for that?
Okay, so how I do this, it's content specific. Let me start there. So most modern worship bands, and let's say there's between 2 to 6 people on stage singing, and that's about right? Whoever's leading, they're on top. And then a lot of times I'll find a second part and treat that one like a background vocal. And then I'll find a third melody so that when the worship leader is like,
Yeah.
and he's off for 2 bars and he forgot that, you know, 30% of the room don't know this song. Then I'm like, okay, John's also singing melody here. And then I'm going to sneak up in a little bit so we don't lose the melody, so that musically inclined people can still follow something. And then the rest, I treat it like gang vocals.
Okay.
You know, and if there's parts in there, great. If it's all melody, great. And that's just a fader placement thing. I'm EQing and processing 99% all the same. So same EQ, same compression. The lead vocal may get a parallel compressor to really get through when the wall of guitars and tracks appear, and like, how do I get this on top at 98 dB? I use parallel compression to do that.
Okay.
So then it's just fader placement. It's like you got to figure out where each of these faders need to be for it to feel like a gang vocal track. And when I say gang vocal, I'm imagining that U87 in a studio and people are singing in a circle around it, placed perfectly, and they're blending themselves. And then I'm doing that with faders. I'm not doing it with EQ, I'm doing it with faders. That's most of the time scenario. Same reverb, same reverb on everybody. No delay on anyone unless they're singing melody, leading the song. But even tap delays, I don't use it like an effect.
Okay.
I don't use it like it's an echo unless the song really calls for it, and that is so rare. I think it sounds a little cheap and cheesy, and everybody in the audience just goes, why is it echoing?
Yeah.
You know? It's different if you're mixing Dua Lipa and it's a pop song, okay? We're not doing that here.
Okay.
And then last week, this event I did in New York City, I had 12 to 16 background singers with microphones. But the way they were laid out was 3 tenor, 3 soprano, 3 alto, and some extras, and then 2 worship leaders. So that I treated like a 12 or 16 person choir. They went to their own bus. They got general EQ and processing individually, and then I had another EQ in the whole group. And those did get a little panning, a little.
Okay.
But it's just to get them out of the middle for the lead singers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because in a live environment, if your PA stereo left and right, the only people getting stereo are like the center aisle, maybe
Right.
1 or 2 seats. Right. So anytime you hard pan something, you're throwing it off for everybody else, and that's what causes like the mix to change everywhere in the room.
Yep. That's great, man. Those are really good thoughts. Okay, I want to listen just for another minute. Guys, if you have any questions that you want to throw out there to Lee, now's the time to put them in the chat. I'm scrolling through there. We're going to listen for just another minute and see if there's any other tips that we can give to Gateway Church.
Yes, your name is the greatest. Your name stands above them all. With all your heart, above all thrones and dominions, all powers and positions. Your name, it stands above them all. Your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. Your name, it stands above them all. Above all thrones and dominions, all powers and possessions. Your name stands above them all. And the angels cry.
There's the classic step away during the melody part right there for the worship leader. Man, I just got to say, Elijah, your team is killing it. Like, the video quality of the stream, I love the energy you're bringing. I feel sorry for your handheld ops trying to follow that girl as she wanders around the stage. But man, I love the way you're showing your congregation engaged, and it's really translating well. So, Lee, did you hear anything else there?
Yeah, I hear a few things. So first of all, homegirl can freaking sing.
Yeah.
I don't know what her day job is, but she needs to quit that and do this. Okay, I think it's too squashed. I think the whole thing is too, it's just this. And then the volume's up fine to get it to the level it needs to be. But I'm also losing a lot from 300 and below. There's a giant hole. I hear the click of the kick drum. I don't have any like 60 hertz anything. I have a feeling it's just being cut off, the limiter. Maybe there's a multi-band limiter, and I bet that bottom band is just doing this really, really fast. I would loosen that up. And what I would go listen to is like Saturday Night Live's musical performance. And here's why. It's the polar opposite of what modern church streaming audio has become. It's not polished at all, but it's still really, really good. And like, try and go that direction a little bit. I'm not saying unpolish it, or maybe I am. But this feels, is this a normal like week live stream? This is what you get every week?
I think
Or is this
so.
produced and remixed? It looked like a service countdown. So I'm assuming that this is like every single week. I think if I'm watching this at home, the odds that it's someone checking out your church for the first time versus someone who couldn't make it to church, it's like 10 to 1. This is how people get through the front door of your church. I think you want them to experience it, how it's going to be in the room, and feel more like a live performance. So I think it feeling a little more messy is actually a good thing. So with the limiting, like give it room to breathe a little. I'm not saying change your tones up and have the band play worse. That's not what I'm saying. But if it doesn't sound like a mastered record and something they'd hear on the radio, to me that has more life and more rawness to it. So I want to hear more low end. I want to hear more bass guitar. I still didn't ever hear any BGVs. So those are the, I think, things to improve.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
They're
good, though. There's some good players on there. Like, that guitar player is good. I loved how I could hear the da-na-na licks at the turnarounds.
Yep.
Like, it's all good.
You talk about making it kind of feel a little more live. How do you handle audience mics and, getting those to come up at the right times? Are you manually writing those faders? Do you use any certain techniques or tips you can give us for that?
Yeah, I would have a ton of audience mics, and I would be writing the mess out of them.
Okay.
I'd have them just screaming loud in transition times to hear the audience. Any kind of down section or any worship leader throw to the audience, sing it, I'd have them pretty cranked. And it's okay if the drums are bleeding into them. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, the value of hearing the crowd singing those outweighs your drums being out of phase now.
Yeah.
And being washy. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. I'd much rather have it feel a little more live than more studio produced.
Yeah.
The way we're handling that, and I don't know if this is right, that's just what I've tried. Since ours is unmanned, unmonitored, it's just that like post-fader mix, I've parallel expanded the crowd mics to the drum bus. So when the drums stop playing, the crowd mics kind of come up. It's like a real long.
I like that.
It kind of works, but there are times where I'm like, I hear it happening and I don't like that. So I need to play with it more. But
so if you hear it, can you that's a release time?
Yeah, I need to increase my release probably. So
yeah, I wish it could be like logarithmic, not 1-to-1, the release. Like it change speeds.
Yeah. Like have it ramp in, ramp out kind of thingy.
Mm-hmm. Like can you change the shape of the knee of the release?
Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
I don't know that that's possible.
Yeah, we'll see. It's on an X32, so probably not.
Nope.
All right, man. That was Gateway. They did a great job. Thank you so much for submitting, Elijah. We're going to move to our next live stream review, and this one comes from City Church. Let me get it going, and I'll share kind of what their audio setup is here. So they are running an Allen & Heath Avantis with a GX4816 stage box. Everything is mixed from front of house. All inputs hit the desk and are grouped into drums, parallel drums, vocals, then split into broadcast aux with main left, right. There's a lot happening here. They're trying to add compression for the broadcast. And he has this thing. He wants to do a Fletcher-Munson equal loudness EQ curve to bring back some of the lows and highs for people listening at a quieter volume. So let's listen and see if you think they need that.
Okay.
There is no army with the power to conquer true. You've always been with us. Every battle you've already won. We've already won. Let's lift this up. Show me one thing he can't do. Show me a mountain he can't move. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible. Do you believe that? Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters he can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible.
that is City View. Lee, what's jumping out at you on this one?
It's a good singer, and they got great taste in guitars.
What's he playing?
It looks like a Gretsch.
Is it a Gretsch? Okay. I wasn't sure if it was a Duesenberg or not. Yeah.
I know. I thought it was a Duesenberg at first.
Well, and also
cooler.
leading worship and like killing it on electric. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I know.
Impressive.
I can hear BGVs. Awesome. I'm looking at the gear list again. I just want to, because I'm about to be critical of stuff, and I just want to make sure I'm not out of my neck. Drums parallel. Okay. So I hear, again, too much compression. So that's the story here for me. I'm trying to determine if it's the drum parallel or if it's the overall bus. The guitars did get a little quieter when those toms da-da-da-da-da-da. You can hear the guitars kind of duck, which makes me think the bus compression's a bit much. I think that parallel drum compressor is probably also involved. If it's not, then the overall bus compression is nuking the energy for me. It's way too much. So it's an easy mistake to overcook compressors. Okay?
Yeah.
There's a very fine line between, you want the volume up. That doesn't mean it needs to sound like brick walled the whole time. When those drums come in, da-da, da-da, that's supposed to be emotive with the lyric, right? It's the reason they chose that drum part is the story you're telling. So we have to not, that's got to come through. You know, and when we limit everything so much that there's no emotional response, nothing's getting through, it's just all like, can be boring. It's just all the same. Like, take me on a journey. You pick this song first to get everybody's energy up, right? And the next song's going to be about 100 BPM female-led song. And then the third, you know what I mean? So, like, we know
So
how this
true.
goes, right? Okay. So, dude, Homeboy's playing lead guitar, and
I know he's killing it.
he is killing it.
Dang.
Okay, so that's the big thing.
I got to listen to this. Oh, a little transition. Very nice.
Here, that's a good transition.
Yeah. I loved it.
I'm freaking impressed, actually. On the up, too.
That was good.
And now we're in song 2. What'd I say about 100 BPM?
Yeah.
Hold on. That's like 110, 112.
It's perfect mid-tempo second song.
It is. It is. It's so good. That's the big thing. Like, honestly, it's hard to get to other stuff because I'm like, it's so compressed. I don't know what else is being affected by it. The guitars feel loud to me and vocal tucked.
Yeah.
But that could be the bus compressor doing all of that.
Yeah. You know, one thing that, and I struggle with it too, not just like wanting to throw on a precision limiter just to bring your levels up loud enough for online. And, you know, there's this LUFS thing, and like, should everybody have a TC electronic thing sitting there at front of house that's like, how are we targeting? How do we know when, I mean, besides looking at the compressor to see how much it's shaving off and all those kinds of things, but like, do you have any ideas for that final stage? Because I think maybe that's sometimes where it's happening a lot.
Yeah, I do feel like this is a great benefit of Waves. So his console is an Avantis, so he has the capability. I think that's a good investment. You don't need the TC electronics if you have the plug-in meter in Waves, and you could even run this natively, so you don't have to go out and buy a server to do this. Just to get one compressor on your mix before it goes to your video encoders and a meter is fine. I would say start with the API 2500. There's a preset called Drew Levine Mastering. It's awesome. And then the L316 Ultra Multi-Band Maximizer or something. The Drew Levine Mastering preset. But don't do any more than like 4 or 5 dB reduction. And then the meter, the Waves meter plugin, go to LUFS and get it to -14.
Yeah, that's what I
So
heard.
but all you're doing though is turning the output up of the last compressor.
Okay.
Like, that doesn't mean more compression. And like, people want to start stacking L2s on, and if you don't know how L2 works, it can sound like this.
Okay.
I don't know that I don't see waves in his description, but that's probably what's happening.
What do you think about the Fletcher-Munson curve thing that they're going for? Is that something you're ever thinking about for low volume listeners?
Okay, so if the PA is in such shape that you're making EQ decisions on inputs for the room, and the result of that in broadcast is it sounds thin, that's not your fault, right? So you got to do something. Where you have to be careful again is with compression. If I put an EQ first and I want more low end, this could also be happening. And I put a shelf on the bottom at 125 and turn it up 8 dB. And then I put a compressor limiter after that. That compressor limiter is stupid. It does not know what it's compressing. But the signal now has been boosted 10 dB from 125 below. That's all it's going to compress, is that signal, because that portion of the signal is that much hotter. So where you put the EQ in the signal chain can drastically affect how that compressor makes it sound. So that's a good tip to remember. It's like, if there's EQ before or is it after, and what's the EQ do to the compressor after? And we're stacking compressors, or there's an EQ between compressors. Like, so you got to be really, really aware of that. A lot of EQs, the 2500 has this. It has a side chain to high pass filter everything below a certain point, and it has 3 options: flat, a knocked down shelf, and then a high pass shelf. And it will go from I'm only compressing kick drum to, oh, now it's catching snare and transients and some other stuff. So you got to play with those little buttons and gadgets.
Gotcha. Are you ever side chaining bass guitar and kick drum? Is that something we should ever worry about?
I would do it in an emergency situation. Not an emergency, I'm being dramatic. I would do it if I had to.
Are you just carving out EQ stuff, or?
No, I work on the sound of the kick drum and the bass guitar on the stage. You do that first. So what are we going for? Are we want more just woof, like low-end jazz bass sound out of the bass, and with the kick drum is going to set at 100 hertz? Or is it going to be like modern rock, which would be more, the kick drum's around 60, and the bass guitar is like a growly 90s grunge distorted thing? That's much higher. So if those are set correctly, you don't have to do tricks like that if the tone's right from the stage. Okay.
Love it.
So if I got sent to me like, you got 5 minutes of sound check and it's go time, and I got 2 things that are fighting each other, I got to do something. I'd probably be more likely to like put a torque plug-in on the kick drum to move it, or I'll grab 700 hertz on a bass guitar a lot and turn it up 10 dB just to hear the note. And then I'll high pass the bass guitar. I high passed the bass guitar last week, one guy, to like 65 hertz.
Dang.
I've high passed kick drums to 50. You know, you just do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But it's best to do it on stage.
That's so smart. Just go to the source and get it right there, and then you're not having to do a bunch of tricks. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you to CityView for submitting that. The only things I saw on video, you guys only have a couple cameras. Just make sure your white balance is set correctly. It looked a little cool to me as far as that setting. But, I mean, I think you guys, audio is king, and you guys are doing it right there. And it's still translated really well online. So great job. And hopefully those tips from Lee can kind of give you something else to kind of work on. That's the great thing, is Sunday's always coming, and we have the chance to make it better the next time around. All right. Our last one that we're going to be able to do with Lee is coming from Christian Life Assembly out of Rwanda. So I wanted to play this, and then basically all that I know is that they have a Waves card coming out of an SQ into Logic Pro. So let's listen to how they're doing church over there.
Hey.
Do you ever let your worship leaders wear one headphone? That bothers me.
Sing, our God is mighty. Our God is mighty and marvelous. Hey, we put our hope in your name, Jesus. There's nothing to fear, nothing to fear. You are here with us. Oh, we put our hope in your name, Jesus. Blessing and honor, unto our God forever. All of the honor, all of the praise, yours forever. Hallelujah. Sing hallelujah.
All right. Let's talk about Christian Life Assembly here. And man, they're bringing the energy.
Yeah. So this event I mixed last week, I keep talking about because it's fresh on my mind. It's for a Nigerian ministry, and they got millions of YouTube followers. They do events all over the world. It's the loudest audience I've ever mixed for. Like the dB meter peaked one night at 120, A-weighted, but the crowd, bro, was like 113, 115.
So you're pushing it just to get over the crowd.
Yeah, it's 100%. I text my buddy Chris Raybold, who mixes for a lot of big pop bands, where it's 15-year-old girls, 30, 40,000 of them. And I'm like, what do you do? And he said, you just have to get over. You keep going. You have to get on top of it. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And it was similar band. Lots of BGVs. They are singing parts. There's choir. So that's what I got from this. So I'm like, oh, I know this. I just did this. Oh, and by the way, the services were 6 hours each, 2 a day.
I was about to say, I can't even get away with a 15-second intro, much less a 2-minute intro to a song.
They were 6 hours, and the band started worship as like a pre-show 20 minutes before the service during
Wow.
walk-in. They do pre-worship, and then they have intense worship, and it's the way it's listed.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. And then the pastor preached about 2.5, 3 hours every service.
He better be good if he's preaching that long.
He's got 3 million YouTube followers, you know.
That's true.
Okay, here's my takeaways from this. I hear compression again. I hear the release time too slow, though. I can actually hear it. So the kick will hit and the snare will hit, and you hear it coming back. You hear it like a pumping sound, like almost like an EDM dance mastering effect. You can hear it like sidechain to the click track a little. It's what it feels like because the kick's hitting so much. So the release time needs sped up, or you need to back the threshold off or the ratio down so that it's not so obvious. We're going into Logic. I think those are drum samples, is my guess. They sound awesome. The drums sound freaking great.
They do. Do you have any favorite samples, or are you allowed to say what you like?
I could say whatever. I just don't really use them, so I don't know.
Okay.
You know, I will say the sound of the samples here, to me, don't fit the vibe of the band.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a gospel snare drum.
Right?
Or toms. It sounds like a Bethel drum kit. So I would like go find the more like wooden snare crack, higher pitched, and more like that's a 10-inch tom.
There's no
and it's
way.
shallow.
Yeah, no way. It
that
sounds
needs
like
to be
that.
like ding. I want that thing like ding, you know, and I want that crack like Questlove pop. Like that's what that drum is. I guarantee sounds like in the room.
Yeah.
So I back off those samples, either switch samples to a more gospel, hip hop, R&B style sample pack. Like even that bass guitar, that's a gospel bass guitar.
Yeah.
That's an Ibanez SGR, whatever. So and there's a Stratocaster. Like, no, I think you got to change these samples to a gospel drum kit.
Yeah.
I think so. I love the BGVs, the choir. It's hard panned, and he's panning it like a choir, and there's parts. They're fantastic. The vocal sounds good. It's a 58. It sounds great. I could use more crowds. So maybe they don't have crowd mics. I would get some, even if it's 257s, and get some room in there to make it feel a little more alive.
If somebody only
do
has
that.
2 crowd mics, where are you putting them in the room?
Well, the crowd mics can be dual role then, so for in-ears and for the stream. So I would put them left and right under the PA, out of the coverage of the PA, up pretty tall, and point it at the audience.
Sweet.
That's what I would start with, and I would use them for in-ears and the stream.
Do you like having any at the sound desk? I know that was a thing a lot of people were doing.
I like miking the PA.
Okay.
That's not miking the crowd. They're all singing
Right.
that way, right?
Yeah.
So we're miking the sound of the mix in the room, but then you have to delay the mix to the PA. So if your video latency is already an issue, you got to be real mindful of that, because if you're at 30 frames a second, you maybe just added another frame if you don't do that right. So you just gotta have to watch that.
Yeah.
But I like it. If the front house mixer's good, PA's good, like, why not
Yeah.
have another tool?
That's cool. Let's
In
listen.
stereo.
Let's listen for just another minute here. What else you hearing?
I'm just nitpicking now, but like the alto on the left's too loud. So if there's 2 altos, I would put them on each side and not have just alto here, soprano here. The soprano level's good, so I would just match it. You know, but I know how hard that is too. Like, it could be song to song. Like, maybe she really knows this song, didn't know the next. You know,
Sure.
like, you know, that kind of stuff changes. The bass guitar sounds cool. I don't think I have anything to say about it. I was just thinking, like, what? It's loud. It's up there in the mix.
But
It's
he's good.
He's very good. It's pretty present around like 70, 80, 90 hertz. I think that fundamental could shift up a little to hear more of the note. I know he's got some runs in there. He played a few. Like, I want to hear some of the note.
That's awesome.
I'm being real nitpicky of that. The guitar sounds good. I think you could, for the stream, I think you could spread the instruments a little more. Push them here and there. Don't make everything stereo, and it's like the guitars coming down stereo left and right. Then you're just summed mono again.
Yeah.
So there's some little stuff. Overall, I think this is great.
I love it. Those
I mean,
are
really just add some crowd mics and give me some gospel drum samples. That's a cool camera shot.
Yeah. Cameras look great. I was really impressed. They said they're just rocking some Panasonics. Really nice stuff. Hey, one question people always want to know from somebody like you who has mixed in so many different environments is, what SPL should the general church that's got volunteer sound guys, you know, a church like us between 200 and 500, 600 people, what are you generally advising people, and how are you measuring that? Like, what's your go-to measurement?
It should be as loud as the boss wants it to be. Okay, we'll start there. Like, who's in charge? Whatever they say, you know. If it's up to me, it depends on the sound of the room, the size of the room, the instrumentation on stage. Like, it depends on a lot. So I've watched some of your church. How big's your room?
Our current one seats 175 people.
Okay, how's the acoustics?
It's pretty deadish.
Deadish.
Yeah.
Carpet.
Seats. There's some acoustic treatment. There's no stage volume at all. Electronic drums.
Okay, so in your case, a room that size, how's the PA? Is it like pretty kicking, or is it just, it's okay?
It's pretty kicking for that room. I mean, it's not anything special, but we did have a Vertec in there, and it took up about half the stage, so we took it down.
Yeah.
But it was going to be the best sounding room in Oklahoma, but we took it down.
I feel like I would want it above 91, 92
Yeah.
to have some energy.
Yep.
You know, but does it need to be 96, 98? Doesn't have to be. You know, 200 people, you can get a lot of energy if the stage is dead silent from a 92, 94. It can be real full and real energetic and feel like big. But 96, 98 can sound awesome too, like that. But with 175 people, it can feel a little bit like rock club, like screaming loud 102 dB. Like it's so fatiguing.
Yeah.
You know, if it's 102, I'm okay with that in a big room where the crowd's also singing loudly. So I think it would just depend. My gut is yours should be in that 92, 94.
Yeah.
And that'd feel pretty rocking. What are you?
Yeah. Peaks are around 92, and
Okay.
we're back in the corner mixing, so I've got it set up for 88 is actually where they're hitting red on the
Back there.
stoplight. Because, it's 3 dB louder up in the crowd. So
Makes sense. Is it a lower ceiling?
it's a raked ceiling. So it's like 12 feet on one side and like 20 feet on the other. So
Yeah.
it's weird.
Totally get that. What's the average age of your congregation?
I'd say mid 30s to 40s. It's young families with some older generation mixed in there.
Denomination?
Southern Baptist.
92.
Yeah.
It matters, right?
Yeah.
And
Just
it's
the
not
culture. It's culture
It is
thing.
not a criticism. It's a culture thing, and I think it's important to honor that.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, for sure. 88 in the back, you're doing it. That's exactly where I would have it.
Okay.
If you just said we have acoustic drums, then I would have said, well, whatever the drum volume is, it's 6 dB more to get the vocal on top. So your hands are tied. So now, like if you want to hear the vocal, it's either got to be 96 or you got to spend some money on electric drums or closing those bad boys off.
Yep.
So a big room, if like it's a 1,500 seat room, like that'd be a very, very large church. I do like 94, 96. That's what I like for church. For a concert, if I'm in an arena mixing, it's going to be 100, 105. 15,000 people.
Flown subs or ground stack stuff?
Okay, so technology has advanced in a way that we don't have to put them on the ground anymore. Okay, so having them in the air works now because PAs go much lower than they used to be, and the subs on the ground are only needed as front fill subs. So in the arena last week, I had 4 subs on the ground for 15,000 people, and they were just for the first 4 or 5 rows. The subs, though, in the air, I had 8 or 10 aside maybe, but it was GSL. I mean, this PA freaking is enormous.
Wow.
So you don't have to have them on the ground anymore. They're more efficient on the ground because they couple and you can steer them. But with technology now, if you're looking at upgrading a PA, it depends on the room, okay? But you don't have to do that anymore. I used to hate flown subs, but mostly because they were underpowered and not enough of them. So they sound loose and they wouldn't be punchy. But now they're getting so much louder and it's becoming more mainstream, I guess, in PA design to have a lot of subs in the air. When they're in the middle is actually best. I used to hate that because the timing and there wasn't enough of them. But with like an Elisa system, you put 10 double 18 subs in the middle, it freaking rules. It's every seat in the room gets it correctly.
That's awesome.
So what I'm really saying is it's all about design, right?
That's cool. Well, guys, you can tell that Lee's a wealth of knowledge, and I love this conversation. Like we could talk for hours about audio and live streaming and how to make it better. I want people to know, though, can you share a little bit more about BlackBox? You're the co-founder, this new thing that's launched in the last few months with some of our favorite creators and church creatives. So tell us about BlackBox.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like the one sentence is we're a church advocacy agency that helps churches solve problems. and that's going to look different for every single client because every single problem is different, whether that's needing to upgrade a PA or build a new building. So we have a client in Illinois, and that's what it is. It's a brand new building, and it's a multi-year process, audio, video, lights, hallway TVs, everything. There's another one in Indiana. It's an existing building with a 15-year-old PA. They're going to get a new PA. Their room is really challenging. Floor, first balcony, second balcony, and the room shape's funny. So we come alongside the church and we stand in the middle between manufacturers, integrators, general contractors, electricians, all the trades on projects, and advocate for the church and help translate their vision into technology solutions. It can look like you don't always have to wait for a big upgrade to engage us. So sometimes it's just training. So I'll go to a church and do a 2-day mixed training and like a private workshop for people. So if church wants to bring one of us in, like you want Shep to come in and teach you how to use cameras for 2 days, he can go do that. And there's a bunch of us, like there's 4 of us that started the company, and then there's a handful more on the team that we'll send out to do stuff. Because the point is, like, I wanted to get the best people in the church production space on the same team, so that a church, needing some like crazy camera project, well, then I call Rusty, who's done video directing for Passion Conferences and Nike. And so we have at our disposal access to a lot of really unique people who are really, really good at what they do. But then also, like in big construction projects and upgrades, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that churches don't know that they can ask for, that we go and fight for them, whether that be pricing, contracts, holding your general contractor to timelines. We can be good cop or we can be bad cop and keep the church in the right seat on projects. So we do a lot of different stuff. We're kind of like the Amazon of church production world. We don't buy gear, we don't sell gear, and we don't install it. We just make sure that the decisions you're making with technology are future-proofed as much as possible and just help guide you through those processes.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if that sounds like something that you could use at your church, maybe you're about to begin a project or you just need to have your systems kind of looked at, check out BlackBox. You can find them on Instagram. I don't know. You guys got a website? Where should they go?
No, we're too busy to build a website, so we don't have one yet. You can slide in our DMs, the BlackBox DM, mine, Brad Bramer's, Shep's, and Tyler Kirpsack's.
That's awesome, dude. Lee, thank you so much for doing this tonight. I think we gleaned a lot of wisdom that we can apply to those live streams, but then we can take that and utilize all that same tips and tricks on our own. So I'm excited to try some of that out in the weeks to come. So I really appreciate you coming on. Maybe we'll do it again sometime, and I'll see you at the Churchfront Conference.
See you there, man. Cool. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And thanks for doing the evening so I can still play golf this morning.
There you go. All right. Well, we will catch you next time. Appreciate you, Lee.
All right. Thanks.
Awesome, man. Guys, that was super fun. A great conversation there. I don't know about you guys, but I learned a ton. And some things that I'm going to go and be tweaking on our stream mix this week if I get a chance. But you know what? The live stream isn't over because we've got hour number 2 coming up for our friends in the creative crew. So are you a part of the creative crew? We've got quite a few that have joined in. And we're going to be jumping into another hour talking about all kinds of just church tech stuff, bouncing ideas around. If you guys have any questions, we can hop into those. So this live stream is going to end. And then in just a couple minutes, I'll start up the new one for the creative crew. If this all goes according to plan, we'll see. So thanks again for hopping on the live stream tonight to all of my followers. I hope that you had a great time. Drop a comment and just say thanks to Lee for sharing all of that wisdom tonight. All right, at the end of the day, remember, guys, we can do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for God's glory. We'll see you in the next one.